All right, let's go. Wake up. Huh? I had to restart the laptop. That excuses my extra 2 minutes of lateness. How's everybody doing? Greg, Metal, is that Amanda? Hey, Amanda, Ron, how you doing? Kenneth, how's everybody doing? All right, that's good. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we got the Devils tonight. That's right. Yeah. Man, it says Panthers will win this game for sure. It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me. Maurice could not have been happy last night. AJC, hey, watch the game with the Panthers radio feed. You pause the TV. Yeah. Yeah, it gets funky having to listen between all the different, sometimes we're streaming and people are behind us, people are ahead of us at the same time. Didn't really have that problem for the most part with DirecTV, but when you're streaming the games, it's not happy. Vincent. Oh, Steven says, Jaws, we need therapy. Why are we so damn bad? The Barkov is extremely broken. Hey, Kenneth says we had a headache, went to bed. Panthers were winning. We blew it twice. We blew a 2-0 lead, and we blew a 3-2 lead, right? Yeah. Hey, thank you, Amanda. Thank you. Much appreciated. She wants to know how Bornfoot's looking to me. I like him so far. I haven't seen anything egregious, like, oh, my God, he's out of position. Obviously, he skates well. You see the tools are there. I mean, there's a reason the kid was a first-round draft pick, right? Not saying he's the second coming of Forsling, but I think he's solid. I think with opportunity, he could grow into something, but is he going to get that chance with us this year? I don't know. I don't know that, how much can a guy do to impress the coaching staff in, 4 or 5 games that would cause them to keep him up. Once Ekblad comes up, would Maurice be willing to give Bornfoot a chance? Go Mikola Balinskis, Kulikov, Bornfoot? Maybe, but we're in that tough spot of trying to win a cup, and we don't really have the luxury of guys developing in the middle of that window. Yeah, exactly, man. He skates pretty smooth. Yeah. No, I definitely like him as a player. I think next year we could definitely see him grab a role for sure. Middle says, first time we've lost a game in regulation when leading after 2 since January 23 in Vegas. Good God, that's bad. Greg says he skates better than broken wheel shopping cart Schmidt. You be nice to Nate Schmidt. He's an old bald dude. What do you want? That poor guy. Every time you see the camera pan to him after the play is over, he did not. I don't know where he thought he was signing, but I don't know that he got into the shape that he needed to be in to be on this team. Hey, thank you, Aaron. Thank you, bud. Much appreciated, buddy. Thank you. He says, this one really pissed me off. I got to blow this up a little bit. I can't see it this morning. This one really pissed me off. Was giving them benefit of the doubt all season, but getting dominated by a shit team is inexcusable. Not sure how they fix this. Aaron, I agree with you. This one really pissed me off. I agree 100%. Even though I kind of knew they were going to blow that 2-0 lead, to get the lead back at 3-2 and then to just absolutely tank it like that, inexcusable. Exactly. Chopper says waive Schmidt and keep Bornfoot. Greg says Schmidt is fine in a 10x10 box. Yeah. Effort, man. If everybody gave the effort, if the forwards were giving the effort that Nate Schmidt was giving this year, we would be in the lead for the President's Trophy. Vision says, so folks are prepping for June vacations. Let's plan a trip. Oh, boy. We might get a May vacation. Vincent, if they play like this, if they continue playing like this, if they try to approach Tampa with the attitude that they've got right now, we'll have a May vacation. And I can tell you where my vacation is going to be at, right at the river. Because May is the prime fishing month for spring. It's when all the big bass are in spawning. It's when all of the big carp come in and start feeding. I'll be down there every damn day, hopefully watching some dogs. Meadow says, if we don't get 2 points tonight, I expect a 2017 style rant. I almost did it last night. But the angrier I got, the more I realized that they might just legit just be completely out of gas. You know what I mean? They might just not have anything left in them. It happens to all the teams eventually, right? Every team, whether they get to win the cup or go to 2 cups or whatever it is, eventually the team just runs out of gas until they reboot. Guitar Crow says, I know it's BS, but they will step it up come playoffs. We'll see how bad they want it. Right. Schmidt would be elite if the ice was 50-20. Yeah. Detroit 7 in a row playing San Jose. Exactly, Craig. Yeah, he's got a motor, but only a quarter tank of gas. Vincent says Zito got into this habit scavenging in the summer, but this year he was the lastest to the dumpsters. It's kind of it's kind of true, right? We had a week to figure out what the hell to do. So you're not wrong. If I was thinking of getting rid of you while you're on vacation, you'll be tormented. Well, I'm happy to be your tormentor. Chopper says Schmidt looks like he's skating with a chain around his chest, pulling a trash truck. Oh, man, poor Nate Schmidt. Now, here's the question. Who would win a race between Schmidt and Ekblad? I think Ekblad would probably win that race. That might be saying something. Meadow says, should we blow the pooch? Screw the pooch, I think is the phrase you're looking for. Tonight, the worst part of it would be what Bob was screaming about the Devils all night. Oh, that's not true. It's not true. The talent is there. It's cohesion. That's a problem, Fly Guy. I mean, in terms of the team, they all don't show up on some nights. Yeah, no, exactly. Ekblad trips Schmidt. Okay, that's actually pretty funny. Ron says, remember the 94 Rangers? The Panthers could be headed down that road. Yeah. Hey, look, I mean, we went to 2 cups in a row, right? I mean, there's just not a lot of fan bases that can make that claim. There's very few that can make that claim in recent memory. At least we won Game 7. This would be a different level of hell had we not won Game 7. Hey, good afternoon, Matthew. JC says Schmidt looks like a guy that would try to rob a stagecoach but wouldn't be able to catch the train or get on it. Oh, poor dude. Ekblad, 7.5 a year. Ekblad wouldn't race. He would be sent to the box for a penalty. Yep, exactly. Steven says something has to be wrong with Barkov. He doesn't just forget how to play hockey. He had at least one brutal giveaway last night in our zone. I think it was more than one. Look, and that's where I kind of got to. If you watch the recap, Steven, I started off pissed. And by the end of it, when I started listing off the names of the guys that seemed mentally not engaged, or at least not sharp like we're used to, Barkov and Reinhart, even though they're producing, have been making a ton more mistakes than they're used to. Barkov took 2 penalties last night. So when you look at the list of the names, Barkov, Reinhart, Kachuk, Bennett, Verhaeghe, that's 5 of what should be our top 6. And they just look they just look gassed mentally. They just absolutely look gassed mentally. And who could blame them, right? So my anger kind of turned to maybe a little bit more frustration that the reality might be that they, whatever they have left, we'll see in the playoffs. But they got to make the playoffs. Yeah, Chris says, watch all the Schmidt attention. He scores 2 tonight. Yep. One Wild and Crazy guy says, I don't think we phone it in, but maybe we dial it back a touch to prevent injuries for the playoffs. I don't have a problem with the lack of physicality. That part I can understand. Save it for the playoffs, that's fine. It's the mental mistakes. The 4th goal was a mental mistake. When was the last time you saw Barkov? He's always the last guy back. He never goes forward to try to get to the puck first. He always plays it safe and plays defense. I've never seen him make that mistake before. That's what I'm talking about, is that they're just making too many mental mistakes. I'm not worried about the physical stuff I get. Hey, thank you, Amanda. Thank you. What's with Rodriguez tripping and falling every damn shift? Amanda, I think Rodriguez watches the channel and he's sick of hearing me say that Samoskevich should be on the top line. So he's trying to earn a spot on the 4th line so that Maurice has no choice but to put Samoskevich on the top line, even if it's just for a game or 2. But I think we're at the point now where Maurice would not do it just to piss me off. Craig, yeah, bad passes and sloppy clears. Yeah, the cross-ice passes to clear our own zone. And there's like 2 flyers. Yeah, Barkov on one side, right on the other, and there's 2 flyers in between them. And instead of just carrying it out of the zone, or they're cross-ice passing to each other in our own zone. I've never seen these guys make mistakes like that before. The water went down the wrong way. Hold on. Damn it. All right. Cordial says, thinking they're just in total coast mode, happy to be solidly in a playoff picture and getting the effort without risk of injuries. Shots aren't really even being blocked or checks. Yeah. That's what I was talking about last night in the recap. It's like I can understand all of that, but Maurice has got to get them to at least keep their head in the game. They've got to at least keep their head in the game. We lost that game yesterday because of mental mistakes. I know, Chopper. I know it, man. Look, and it's not a huge cushion. Yeah, exactly. JC, I was screaming at the TV. I was screaming. It says yesterday Chucky had a great high opportunity to shoot and score right in front of the net, but he decided to try to thread the needle. Exactly. That's exactly it, man. I was screaming at the TV when he did that, because it just shows where they are mentally. So now saying we have a cushion in the playoffs. So we're 4 points ahead of the Lightning, but they got 3 games in hand. Now, Bruins are 6 points out. I mean, it would take an utter disaster for us to not make the playoffs. Okay? It really would. But we could definitely fall to 3rd place in the division. I don't know if we're capable. I don't want to say we're not capable of doing it, but it would take a monumental collapse for us to finish anything lower than 3rd. So from that perspective, in terms of having a little bit of a cushion, I can understand that a little bit. I'm scrolling down to the bottom. Thank you for that comment, Matthew. I saw that. I appreciate that. Cordial says, definitely agree you shouldn't be losing the layup games. Those are the ones that keep you safely in it while playing like hot garbage. Losing them is no bueno. Exactly. Steven says, our point pace after last night dropped below 100. Woo. Fly guy, I don't think they're I don't think they're capable of playing poorly enough to lose a playoff spot completely. I mean, technically any team is, but I think there's too much talent on the team and the goaltending is too solid. I honestly believe that it would take, because like, look at the Red Wings. Look at it from the reverse perspective. The Red Wings have won 7 games in a row, and they're still not sniffing the 8 seed. They're close. They're close. But it takes winning a lot of games or losing a lot of games in a row. Look at Boston. They lost 7 in a row, right? It was 6 or 7 in a row that they had lost. But they kept on to their playoff spot the entire time. So, I mean, you got to start talking about Florida would have to start losing 10, 12 games in a row to even be close to losing a playoff spot. Let's scroll down to the bottom here real quick. Hey, thank you, Frank. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Frank. Can't make a pass, can't handle a pass, can't create anything. Stop with the coasting BS. We're playing like S. Stop lying to yourself. Frank, did you watch the recap last night? Did you watch the recap last night, Frank? Because that was like a half hour of the post game was a half hour of basically what your comment is. Paul says Nosek is a waste of a roster spot. We would be so much better with we were better with Boquist at 4C. I don't know, man. I don't. There's some holes that wouldn't be such a big problem if the rest of the team was playing right, you know. Yeah, Matthew says, I looked at Rodriguez and Luosterainen, and the states they produced almost nothing, right? Yeah, we need more production out of both those guys. If Luosterainen is going to keep that spot next to Benedict Tkachuk, he's got to bury the puck when he gets the opportunities. It's the same thing as with Nick Cousins. It's the same thing as with Nick Cousins. And you know, Rodriguez really hasn't taken advantage of being up there with Barkov and Reinhart. You know what I think needs to happen. I'm just not gonna keep saying it. Okay, Frank. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Is like, I don't mind that they're physically coasting if they are physically not wanting to beat their bodies up. That part I can understand, but they got to be able to stay mentally engaged in these games. Yeah, that's right. Spencer tonight. Positive energy for Spencer tonight. Fly guy, you think Giles? It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt. I mean, Nosek isn't giving it. What's Nosek's face-off percentage? Somebody look that up. I got you, Frank. I got you. Yeah. Well, there's 2 parts. I mean, we've seen this team be capable of coasting physically and not playing physical, but still win games. Right? Because they've got enough talent, they should be able to win, 6.5, 7 out of 10 without beating themselves up. But it's the mental part of the game. It's just horrible. Yeah, what's Nosek's face-off percentage? Kenneth says Leafs are playing worse than last year, squeaking out wins and may not win their first Atlantic. Not sure what to say. I don't know who's gonna pass them though, Kenneth. Nobody wants it. I mean, Panthers are 3 points behind. I guess we could still technically win the division. Weren't we like 6 points behind like 5 minutes ago? Watch, Tampa. Tampa could come up and surprise everybody and win the division. Wouldn't that be something? Don't leave out the Lightning. If the Lightning win the division, the first round would likely be Florida and Toronto. What do you Leaf fans think about that? You guys would get the first crack at eliminating the champs. There's that. Yeah, Roddy's having a tough year. No doubt. No doubt. Yeah, put Sam Miskevich. Just try it. You know what I mean? I understand. Now, somebody made a comment in the recap when I said about Sam Miskevich on the top line that he would be up against top competition and he wouldn't look as flashy. Totally agree. Totally understand that. But I think just his effort level, it's not so much about I want Samoskevich to become fantastic. I think Samoskevici's energy and effort level could be what Barkov and Reinhart need to get mentally back into the game. Because there's not going to be any lackadaisical coasting around when Samoskevich is on the ice. And he still would be one of the fastest guys on the ice. He's going to draw a defender, which means you got to account for that, dude. And it might leave some space open for Barkov and Reinhart to operate. Julian says Caps and Devils are most consistent in the East. Problem for the Cats is there's a bunch of teams in the wild card race. That's true. But also, Julian, we only have to play one of them, right? Caps and Devils are going to X themselves out unless there's some weird way that the Metro ends up. I mean, there's ways it could not happen that way, but most likely Caps and Devils are going to X themselves out, and only one's going to end up in the Eastern Conference Final. Chopper says McAllister lighting up in the AHL. Why not bring him in? I don't know anything about him. I'll have to look at that. Metal says 48% for Nosek. Well, then that's literally his only job is to give us plus 50 on the faceoffs. That's like the only reason for him to be on the ice. That's not good. I was hoping it was better. Craig says third line needs to score more. They can't just be used to eat up ice time or lock down other teams defensively. Agreed. No doubt there. Kachuk will prove himself in the playoffs. Let him play easy. Like I said, lack of physicality I can handle. But the lack of aggressive, the lack of energetic play is a concern from a lot of people. Yeah, Fly Guy, he was 54% in his career, right? What do you think the Panthers need to do at the NHL trade deadline, my opinion, Mr. Dawes? Well, I've kind of gone back and forth on it. You guys might call me crazy here, but I'm really beginning to wonder how much of the problem is the defensive personnel. And what I mean by that is I was pretty well convinced for a while that we were one defenseman away from solidifying things. And obviously getting a real top four defenseman in would help. But if they're not going to put Samoskevich with Barkov and Reinhart, or they're not going to put him with Bennett and Kachuk, if they're not going to make an attempt, or even Boquist, if they're not going to make an attempt to get one of the guys with energy and legs into the top six, I think then they're going to maybe have to go out in the trade deadline and pick up a guy. What's Marcius, though? How's he playing? How is he playing? Defensively, I don't know. I mean, we only have so much. We only have so many assets to move around. And the game that was on the ice last night, like I said in the recap, you could put Cale Makar with Nico Mikkola on that second pair last night. We're still losing that game because that was Barkov's mistake on the fourth goal. If Barkov just skates backwards and does what he's done a million times, which is eliminate the play, that would have given Rodriguez a chance to get back. I mean, that goal was, how many times do you see a goal scored against us due to a mental mistake by Barkov? But it just happened. And the night before was on the game's on Reinhardt's stick, and he can't clear the puck. I'm scrolling. I missed a lot of the chat, so I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Nosek and Samoskevich for Stenlund. Stop. So, what is my prediction for giving all these players a better grade? I'm not sure I understand, Simon. They need to get their head in the game. Nobody is getting a better grade until they get their head in the game. Vincent. Oh man, it makes you feel alive. You haven't had a whole lot to we haven't had a whole lot to bitch about these last few years, right? Denisenko, whatever happened to Denisenko? Never happened to that guy. That's it exactly, Metal. Worst part is at this point, I think we're starting to question if they actually will turn it on for the playoffs, if they won't, or if they can't. The can't part is my concern. The can't part is definitely my concern. Craig says right shot D with some speed and thump. No disagreement. That would help. It would help. But if the forwards keep making the same mistakes, it's not going to matter in the long run. I guess, the forwards have to pull their heads out of their ass. Otherwise, any assets we give up for defensemen for another run at the Cup this year is just going to be wasted assets. Yeah, Boquist wants to be on the ice. Paul won't play him. Marshy has 31 points in 42 games for Nashville. All right. So Marchessault for a fifth. That's all I'm giving. That's all I'm giving. Marchessault for a fifth. Salary retained. Maybe a third, maybe a fourth. I don't know. Would he help? Something's got to help. Something's got to help. Hey, Rosado. Julian says we don't need Jonathan Marchessault. That's what Swaggy is for. Well, where's Swaggy? Where the hell is he? Right? Where the hell did he go? Oh, Rosado, Magda plays tonight. So I guess it's double elimination, Rosado. I guess it's double elimination. I tried looking it up. I wasn't sure. See, JC says Barkov, Samoskevich, Reinhart, Lundell, Verhage, Erod, Lusterinen with Chucky and Boquist, Gajovic or Nosek with Bennett and Greer. Oh, boy. I'd do it. I'd do it for a game. I'd do it. When's the last time Lusterinen took a face-off? You might have to switch Boquist and Lusterinen, JC. Because when was the last time you saw Lusterinen take a face-off? And Boquist was at least holding his own at 4C. But I like that thought process. Yeah. Wouldn't that be some shit? We turn on the TV and Chucky's on the third line and Bennett's at 4C. Talk about waking those guys up, right? Barkov and Reinhart look at each other and be like, you see what coach did to Bennett and Chucky? We better get our shit together or we're going to find ourselves in the third and fourth line. I like it, JC. Denisenko is stuck on Vegas' AHL team. Gotcha. Belinskas for Makar. I'm in. iDog says, again, the Lightning own the 3 finals and winning 2 times is an exception, not the rule. I never expected us to make the finals this year. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I know we could still be hopeful, right? Simon, I'm trying to read what you're asking here. What I mean is that it's great because it's a halfway point of the season for there to be Panther. I did, Simon. If you're asking me what I thought of the team at the midway point, I did a video. I put out a video, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago. That's actually, I graded all of the players and the coaches and the goalies. I did a mid-season grade video. It's on the channel. I put it out about 4 or 5 days ago. Oh, she plays a doubles match. Oh, okay, Rosado. All right, thank you. What time is that, Rosado? I want to make sure I wish her luck because we had a little conversation after her last match. I'm trying to give her some positive vibes. Right? Mark, if you're listening, if you guys are listening, Mark, look, I'll tell you guys the same thing. I got a picture with me and Kyle and Brother Gene and everybody at dinner with the two of you. I need to be able to post that as here I am at dinner with one of the top 3 ranked female tennis players in the world. I need the bragging rights. So come on, Magda. Let's go. All right? Kick some ass, man. Right? Just kick some ass. I know you got it in you. Huh? Am I going to have to start doing tennis recaps? We'll start doing tennis recaps. Right? That'd give me a good idea what the players would really think. I don't want to say bad things about Magda, though. So I had to change my attitude. Maybe I should get a Magda puppet. Huh? Should I get a Magda puppet? Silva says, I really like Belinskas. Yeah. She's going to win the next 3 slams, right, Rosado? Meadow says, reportedly, the cap is going up to $97 million next season. We can make some devious moves if we play it right, especially if our core gets some rest. It's a good point. Trey says, win Wimbledon already. She'll get there. Huh? She's got, look at the community of people she's got behind her now, right? Look at all the success I've had in life thanks to this channel. So, hopefully the bad luck doesn't rub off. Unsubscribe. Oh, she's good on clay, Rosado? Gotcha. Yeah, exactly, Matthew. Matt it says, make flyers and get someone to hand them out all fans when they leave the stadium after games. That's an interesting, I never thought about that. Of course, whoever was handing out the flyers would have to be willing to take the punches that they're going to take from the people that hate me, right? Hey, Adonis, thank you, bud. Much appreciated, buddy. He says, hope my physical presence gives us the W. Something needs to help, right? Zao says, I hope that it doesn't matter like when you started streaming Marlins games. You guys made me do that, Rosado. It wasn't my fault. Huh? They were winning, and then they wasn't. We got Bob's got this year and one more year. Do the people that hate me know how to hit? Probably not. That's a good point. Yeah. Huh. Rosado, I went through with it. And hey, look. I tried to fix it for the Dolphins this year. I tried to stay away and see if that would work better, but it didn't. Hey, thank you, John. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, John. Hamburger Man. Rosado, yes, I'm an idiot on Facebook. Yeah, that was funny. I was enjoying that conversation, and then I'm like, hi, how you doing? Frank says, if we don't win tonight against a potential playoff opponent, don't even bother waste your energy trying to repeat. Well, it is the second of a back-to-back. I mean, losing last night, that we will see. Not that we don't know what this team is already made of, right? But we will see where their mindset is at. How angry are they going to be that they blew that game last night? That's the question, is how angry are the Panthers going to be? How pissed off are they going to be that they blew that game last night? Because they blew that game last night. That was just an absolute blowjob. Better start paying for tennis on TV. We're gonna stream all of Magda's games. She's only on to the doubles now, right? That still counts though. Yeah, Trey says it's do or die game 45. Rosado, $10 a month. Yeah, once my lawsuit goes through, I'll fork up some extra money. That's just to see if anybody's paying attention. Oh, if you only knew. If you only knew. Julian says last night if Lundell had better hand-eye, he would have scored on those chances. Yeah, Rosado, that's proprietary. I can't talk about it, Rosado. I'm not sure if I'm doing it yet or not. Let's just say there's a chess game going on. I've got checkmate, and it depends on if the other person is going to lay down or if they're going to pick up the board and throw it. We'll see how it goes. Kenneth says there's good golfing all year round in Florida. They can take April and May off to play some hockey. Well, they're going to get May off if the Panthers keep playing the way they've been playing, right? But yeah, it is. In fact, it's funny though, because I was listening to a couple guys talk at the gym, and maybe 1 out of 5 winters we actually get snow that sits on the ground for a while, and they were lamenting that they couldn't play their normal January golf. Because normally in January here we'll have a high of like 45, and it's still nice weather to go out there if you're used to it. But we've been having like the high today, and it's 28 degrees right now. The high today is 30. Greg says the West Coast trip is coming up. We'll show how engaged they are after the Ducks weird back-to-back. It should be a good test run. Yeah, that's a weird I mean, it's weird. Who would have thought? Let's have a home and home with the Ducks. It's like, you guys, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, I like talking to subscribers. Yeah. This show just kind of developed on its own. You know what I mean? If people want to talk hockey, we'll talk hockey. But it allows everybody to get what's on their chest off their chest, right? If they make the playoffs, and they probably won't make the playoffs, what's your prediction of how far they're going to get into the playoffs? Well, I mean, it's in my mid-season, I did a mid-season review of my preseason prediction video. And in the mid-season review, I said that I felt that they still could repeat as Cup champs. The caveat to that is that if they could still repeat if they are simply withholding energy, right? If they are simply literally just checked out, waiting for the playoffs to start, and they still have a full complement of energy left to give, then I think they could do some damage. If they play like they've been playing since I made that video, I don't even know if they'll win a game in the first round, because and that seems impossible to me that they would play as disengaged in the playoffs as they have recently. So it's just a matter of how much energy they have left to give. And like anything else, you can't, if you go play blackjack, you don't know what happened until the flip card, right? Dealer got 15 showing, got 14 showing, he's got a hit. You don't know what's going to happen. So you sit there, we got to wait the next 37 games, and then the playoffs start, and then we'll know what that flip card was. Julian, right? Was that? It says, how much do I love Pomo right now? Pomo's pissing me off, right? Craig says, not really any dominant teams this year, so anything is possible. And that's part of why, at least in the Eastern Conference, is part of why I felt like they could still have a chance. Tampa, though, I would not discount Tampa, you know. Kenneth says, didn't know you were allowed to sue Ekblad for blocking you, but it makes business sense. The only reason I would sue Ekblad for blocking me is it would force him to acknowledge my existence. That's about it. Vincent says, Jaws, how about an Ekblad trade prediction video? Don't pay attention. This is a subliminal message. Rosado says, what if I donate $20 and use that to pay for tennis TV? You know, the thing about it, Rosado, is I have to watch a tennis match first to see how my eyes handle it. Like, I can watch 2 hockey games in a row and I'm okay. But one football game, like after half a football game, my eyes are all screwed up. So I don't even know. I don't know if I can watch 10. I don't know if back and forth is going to be a problem or not. So I literally have to watch a tennis match to see how my eyes would respond. Who would trade for it? You know, Matthew, you'd be surprised, man. When I was doing some research for the midseason video, I came across I actually do, Matthew. I actually have methylene blue. I actually have that. I do. I have the bottle of methylene blue. I take it not every day because I don't like to get addicted to it, but 2 or 3 times a week it really helps. It helps with the oxygenase. I can't say the word. It helps with my cardiac issues a lot, especially late at night. You know, I was noticing I was having trouble with my breath, and yeah, the methylene blue really did help a lot. Julian says, tennis is a tough sport. Haven't broken a racket yet. Don't plan on it. Which racket do we play with? Not me. Who was playing tennis? Simon says, what do you think Bill Zito is going to do with the NHL trade deadline? Yeah, no, Matthew, I do. I have the capsules. I put a couple drops. I fill the capsule about halfway up and then, close the capsule up and put it in quick. Because one time I spilled some on my finger. It took about a day for it to come off. So what do I think Zito's going to do with the trade deadline? Most likely, I think we're going to get a forward and we're going to get a defenseman. I don't think he's going to be willing to sacrifice much of the future to try to win again this year. But it wouldn't surprise me if he tried to infuse somebody with some energy into the top 6 that also has a knack for creating havoc and putting the puck in the back of the net. Now, how we're going to do that and who we're going to send and all of that, don't know. I see that, Rosado. But I would be surprised if we don't make moves, right? Rosado says, I see something closer to the 22 deadline. Oh, boy. Like Nathan McKinnon. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to will that one into existence. Ekblad and Bennett for McKinnon and McCarr. I don't see what the problem is. I mean, I'm sure everybody here would do that, right? Right, Kyle? Exactly. You agree with that, right? He won't agree to nothing he doesn't hear, man. Frank says, change coach and bring back you. Oh, boy. Oh, my God. That would be that would bring energy. I don't know what kind of energy, but it would definitely bring some energy. What if we trade Samoskevich and some public subs sandwiches to Vancouver for Elias Pettersson and a Nerf gun? Stop trying to trade Samoskevich. GE says the rumor is the organization is considering withdrawing their players' participation in the upcoming tournament. Whoa, hold on. Where'd you hear that, man? That's that, and I'm not arguing or disagreeing. That's a genuine question. Where did you hear that? That would get. Oh, are you meaning so like the team saying you guys don't look like, the team kind of basically saying, you look like you need a rest, so we're not gonna let you go. Julian says he's going to swap depth pieces like third or fourth liners. Next year, he'll have more ammo to make a better trade than he can this year. Yeah, I don't really know much what we can do this year. Bingo, GE, man. Wow. I'm all for it. I'm here for that. I want to make that video. I definitely want to go live in the middle of the day when I wasn't expecting to go live because the Panthers said, guess what? You guys ain't going anywhere. Go sit on the beach for a week. Yeah. Maurice says, when Maurice retires, my candidate for coach is Jamie Compton. He's really good and actually loves to coach the players. Oh, really? Really? Heidemann out 3 to 4 weeks for the Habs after traffic. And damn, man. Habs can't catch a break. Will do, Simon. Will do, buddy. Hold on a second. I'm choking on myself over here. Let's see. No news is. We'll get there. Justin, who says, what do I think about Steven Lorentz playing on the top line with Matthews and Marler? Wait, did that happen? Did that happen? I mean, Lorentz isn't going to start lighting it up, but when he uses his size and strength appropriately, he could create some opportunities for those guys. It's an interesting thought. Tonight's game, I mean, Lorentz isn't going to do anything that is going to make the coach regret doing that. He's not going to go out there and make stupid mistakes. He can handle himself with top players. He's not going to be, but he could be a difference maker if he uses his physicality in the right way. He could open up some opportunities for those guys. No doubt. That's a real interesting move. I wish our coach would try some unconventional moves. Who are the Leafs playing? Who are they playing tonight? Yeah, Lorentz has heart. Yep. Oh, he was on the top line for a bit in the previous game as well. Yeah, I mean, when you look at the guys that we lost, when you start adding it up, is there anybody that we lost we've had a viable replacement? I think the only guy that we've lost, the closest thing we have a viable replacement for is Greer replacing Lomberg. I think everybody else that we've lost, it's been a downgrade. The replacement has been a downgrade. Nosek for Stenlin. Lorentz was off the bench, but he was on the floor. Samoskevich is not that kind of player, right? And nobody has stepped up in Tarasenko's absence. I know he wasn't on the team the whole length of the year, but Boquist gets a little bit more goals than Nick Cousins, but he's not quite as greasy. Yeah, I remember Colin White and Balsers, right? Yeah, Jesper's pretty good. I guess he would be an upgrade over Nick Cousins. I guess I'd have to give that. But Nick Cousins, fourth line player, right? Right. Yeah, Boquist has been as good as Cousins, and it would be a real bun if, like I said, that's on the fourth line. we've got guys that we're asking a little bit more than we're asking a little bit more out of Kulikov than he's got, a little bit more out of Schmidt than he's got, a little bit more out of Boquist, right? And Sam Miskevich, I mean, he's not a fourth line player. So we've got a lot of guys we're asking to do jobs that I'm not really sure. Craig, you think Mackey is a Cousins replacement? I mean, production-wise, he's probably better than Cousins. But Cousins' job was to get under the other team's skin. You know what I mean? He just was a massive shit stirrer. For the Four Nations Cup is the role of people and not going, but I thought it was due to the NHL, and now the NHL teams have to go, so they don't have an option. That's interesting. I know, Trey. We agree, man. I keep pumping that idea. It would work. It would work. But I think we're going to have to kidnap Maurice to get him to do it. Yeah, that's what. Meadow, exactly right. When they were talking about Sam Miskevich and Sordiff last season at training camp, Maurice specifically said, those guys aren't playing. They're not going to play fourth line minutes. They're not that type of player. Frank says Gadjevich is Cousins' replacement. He's just different. He's just always hurt now. That's the unfortunate part. Every time Gadjevich gets on the ice, he's back off the ice. Right? Yeah, exactly, Craig. It's exactly right. He's got the jaw for it. Let's put it that way. Rosado says I should start a talk show, bring on the Panthers players. They're not the league in general. I've been talking to some other YouTubers, and it's not a personal thing with me in terms of them ignoring me. In general, the league, for whatever reason, they're very, very old school, very traditional, and they don't view the YouTube people as a positive. They would kind of wish we would all just go away, to be honest with you, and that they could just stick to their normal traditional TV media people that they have, which is just dumb. It's just dumb that they haven't figured out to embrace the alternative media yet, but that's where we are. Jason, just joining is a time to panic about the defense. No, we're too busy panicking about the forwards mentally being checked out of the game. We can't even assess the defense because the play of the forwards is so bad. Like if the forwards were doing their job and we were still allowing 4 goals a game, then we could look and be like, it's that defenseman. But because the forwards are not doing their job, it wouldn't matter how good of the defenseman we had, the system doesn't work. So we can't assess the defenseman because the forwards are on vacation. Hey, True. We got to get our conditioning up. We play super hard most first periods and run out of gas after the second. It's so true. It's so true. I mean, I said it last night in the recap. I still might want to do it. I want to go back and I want to do a compilation of my second period, of my post second period segments in the recaps, because I would venture a guess out of the 45 games, I would venture a guess that probably 35 of them I'm complaining that we looked like ass in the second period. And that might be a conservative number. It is uncanny how consistently bad in the second period we've been. The amount of leads that we blew 2 leads last night. And what's worse about what really makes last night just is we already did this to Philadelphia earlier in the season. We already lost to them when we blew a big lead. You would have thought that when we had a 2-0 lead, somebody on that bench would have been like, hey, dumbasses, don't forget what happened to us last time. And nobody did. Mel says, what's my theory about the second periods being so bad all year, no matter what the score? I think it's got something to do with Maurice's attitude about playing tight, close games. It must be that this sounds crazy, but this would also explain it. I would genuinely not be shocked if Maurice's game plan every game would be play hard in the first period, and no matter what happens in the first period, just play the second period with the goal of keeping it a 1-goal game. Like there's no killer instinct. There's no, hey, we're up 2-0. Let's get 3 and 4 and put this team out. I would not be shocked if our performance in the second period, and I'm not saying it's by design, but through Maurice's somehow not putting the proper, a lack of importance on building on top of leads. Rosado says, got to get a PlayStation or Xbox and could do simulations in the game and see how it works. Man, my eyes can't take the video games, unfortunately. I told Dee Dee before I went to work, we're going to lose this game because we're pushing hard in the first 10 minutes, and I was right. She's begging you to start coaching junior. Well, if your back is good enough, you may as well, right? Craig says 180 from last season for sure. Lockdown defense was the norm. Yeah, absolutely, man. Oh, make Kyle do it? I can't make Kyle do anything. Kyle does what he wants. I'm just lucky enough to have tricked him into doing some things that I needed him to do that happened to be things he wanted to do. You know, how would I feel about us getting Ryan Lindgren? What's his contract? What's his numbers? Because that's the other problem is I've looked at guys that like maybe this guy, maybe this guy, maybe this guy. And then you see the contract numbers and you're like, well, how much are we going to have to give to the other team to eat the salary, right? Not everybody is going to be like, the Rangers and just, you know what I mean, blow it up stupidly. Meadow says, agree. There was a clip during the Boston series when he said, so in game 7, they have nothing left. I don't like the mindset of assuming a series will go game 7. Right. Yeah. No, I understand. Look, Maurice has a system. He has a way it works, and that's his mindset, and he won a cup, and nobody can take that away from him. But he also won 1 cup. What's he been coaching, like 75 years? Jason, no, it's an exact turnaround, and just confidence. I mean, look, we feel it as fans, so I'm sure the players feel the same way. Like when I'm in the recap last night, it's 2-1 after 2. I even said it. I have no confidence that even if we win the game, I was sure that we were going to have to win it after having blown the lead. And sure enough, in the first 5 minutes, we blew the lead. It's crazy. All right, guys, I got to roll. I got to get some eBay work done. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for all the super chats. Thanks for hanging out with me. We have a good time. And 15 minutes before face-off tonight, we got the Devils. Good luck to us. Yeah, good luck to us. Thank you all. I'll see you guys later.